Let's go to page 636, and this is lesson 13-6. The objective of this lesson is to simplify trigonometric expressions and to prove identities. So on page 636, you have all this list of identity that you can use. And so when you solve, you have to kind of apply those identities. So let's go to example 1. So you want to simplify cosine of alpha plus tangent alpha sine alpha. Okay, the rule of thumb is if you're not sure what to do, just change everything into sine and cosine. Okay. So tangent alpha is sine over cosine. Okay. And again, you have to be familiar with your identity, right? So like this one over here, this is a quotient identity. Tangent x equal to sine x over cosine x. Okay. And that's where it came from. And then from here, so when you multiply this together, you're going to get cosine alpha plus sine squared alpha over cosine alpha. Okay. Now, when you're adding two terms together with a fraction, you need to get common denominator. So over here, go ahead and make into cosine alpha. Okay, so you can get your common denominator, and this is over 1, right? So from here to here, you need to multiply by cosine of alpha. So this becomes cosine squared alpha. Okay. And so when you add together, okay, so you're going to cosine squared plus sine squared. Again, that's from your identity. So if you notice, cosine squared plus sine squared equal to 1. Right? Cosine squared plus sine squared equal to 1. So this becomes 1. Okay? And then from here, again, you look at using the identity 1 over cosine. See, 1 over cosine is secant x, right? 1 over cosine is secant. So this will equal to secant alpha. Okay, and that's it. That's how you simplify. Okay, you can just use a lot of identity. Okay. Okay, let's go to example 2. Okay, so you have tangent x, and you want to write it in terms of sine x. Okay, so again, tangent equal to sine x over cosine x. Right? Again, that's from your identity paper. So you can tangent is sine over cosine. Okay. Now the next step is remember you only can use sine, right? So you have to convert the cosine into sine. So you have to use this right over here. Okay. So you can go off to the side. So remember, sine squared x plus cosine squared x equal to 1, right? So that is this Pythagorean identity over here, right? Sine squared plus cosine squared equal to 1. So you want to solve for x, so you can substitute into here. So minus sine squared x on both sides. So you got cosine squared x equal to 1 minus sine squared x. Okay? Then you take the square root on both sides. So cosine x equal to plus or minus square root of 1 minus sine squared x. Okay? Then you substitute this into here. So this equal to sine x over plus or minus square root of 1 minus sine squared x. Okay? And that's it. Okay, so again, the strategy is, if you're not sure what to do, usually will help if you change everything into sine and cosine, and just go through the list of identities and look the one that you can use. Okay. Okay, let's go to next one. Okay, you want to prove that tangent square alpha plus cosecant square alpha minus cotangent square alpha equal to secant square alpha. Okay, so when you're doing a proof, okay, what you want to do is you want to simplify the side that is more complicated. The one that is more simple, you want to leave it alone. Okay, so you want to prove that this is equal to that, so you go and leave this alone. You want to go and just manipulate this side. Again, if you're not sure what to do, change everything into sine and cosine. So tangent equal to sine over cosine. So tangent square is sine square alpha over cosine square alpha. Okay, cosecant is 1 over sine. So this is equal to 1 over sine square alpha. Okay. Okay, minus cotangent is cosine square alpha over sine square alpha. And again, you leave this side alone. Okay. Now, if you notice that these are different common denominator, but these two are the same, so you can combine these two. Okay. Now, so this one you combine. Okay, 1 minus cosine squared will give you sine squared. Okay, so again, this 1 minus cosine squared equal to sine square alpha. Okay. And so now, if you notice, actually you can go back. Now you can actually go back to this one over here, because this is equal to 1. Okay, so this is equal to 1. So you can look for the 1 with 1. So look over here. So you got 1 over here. And this one you can actually go back to tangent. Okay, so see this one over here. Okay, so let's switch this back. So again, this is 1. So in this case, actually you don't have to switch. Okay, so sometimes you don't have to switch. Okay, again, tangent square. Again, let's move this back into tangent, because from there we can find one of the identity that we can use. So over here, so this is equal to secant square. So you're going to get secant square x equal to secant square x. And once the two sides are identical, once two sides match, you put a check mark. Means you proved. Okay? Okay, let's go to example 4. You want to prove that 1 minus cosine t over sine t equal to sine t over 1 plus cosine t. Okay? Okay, now, first, again, the strategy is figure out which side is more complicated, which side is more difficult, and then you want to simplify that side. Now, this side is more complicated because the denominator is more messed up than this one. So you want to simplify these to match the right-hand side. So leave the right-hand side alone. Okay. Now, to simplify these, you want to multiply by the conjugate. So you want to multiply by the conjugate. So what you want to do is you want to multiply by 1. So again, when you have this kind of situation, you want to multiply by conjugate. So conjugate would be minus. So 1 minus cosine t, 1 minus cosine t. Okay. So now on the top again, don't distribute. Okay. You don't want to distribute. Just hold off for now. So you got sine t, 1 minus cosine t. So leave it for now. And then over here, so when you multiply, you're going to get, so conjugate, right? So you multiply the f and l. So 1 times 1 is 1. Plus times minus is minus. Cosine times cosine is cosine square t. Okay? And so you got 1 minus cosine t over sine t equal to, again, don't multiply because usually there's something you can cancel out. So you want to leave it alone. Especially this already matched that already. You want to see what's on the other side. So this already matching with that already. So don't multiply out. If you multiply, you mess up that. Okay? Okay, now 1 minus cosine square equal to sine square t. Okay? Right? So you got to know that. And then after that, you can cancel. See, this sign cancel with that. So when you cancel out, you will get sine t. Okay? And notice now it match, right? So you're going to end up with 1 minus cosine t over sine t equal to 1 minus cosine t over sine t. And then you check. Okay, so you're done. Okay? Okay, let's go to the next one. Now, if you're not sure what to do, right, that's best thing to just go and just try. Again, if it doesn't work, you can just look at identity paper and try something else. Okay. Okay, you want to prove that cosecant x minus 1 times sine x plus 1 equal to cosine x cotangent x. So looks like this side is more messy, so let's leave this alone. Let's go and simplify this part over here. Okay. Okay, so cosecant, so first again, let's go and convert everything to sine and cosine. So cosecant came from sine, so this is equal to 1 over sine x minus 1. Okay. Then next, let's go and distribute, so this times that. So this times that will give you 1. This times that will give you plus 1 over sine x. Okay, this times that will give you minus sine x, and this times that will give you minus 1. Okay. Okay, so notice this and this will cancel out. Okay, so you're going to get 1 over sine x minus sine x over 1. Okay. So next step, what we're going to do is, well, if we're going to subtract something, we have to get the common denominator, right? Okay, so that's going to get common denominator. So from here to here it's 1. From here to here, you have to multiply by sine of x, so this becomes sine square x. Okay? Right, again, from here to here, you have to multiply by sine of x. Okay, now when you subtract 1 minus sine x, sine square x will give you cosine square x. Okay. Okay, so now notice there's a cosine, so we can, that's a right match. So let's go and do this. See the cosine square, let's go and write it out. And if you notice that this match, and this will give you cotangent, right? So this becomes cosine x, cotangent x equal to cosine x, cotangent x, and check, okay, and done. So again, if you're not sure what to do, right, again, just keep doing one step at a time, because sometimes when you do one step, it helps you to visualize and know what to do the next step, okay? But if you don't try something, if you just try to expect to do it in one step, then you're going to get stuck and you're going to just give up, okay? But again, just try to keep simplifying, apply all the regular algebra and apply all the identity, and then again, keep working, and then you get to the end, okay?